The Columbia Workshop. Tonight we are happy to inaugurate our new season with William Saroyan's play, My Heart's in the Highlands. William Saroyan is recognized by both critics and public as one of America's great young writers. The Columbia Workshop presents now William Saroyan's play, My Heart's in the Highlands. Our scene is an old, white, broken-down frame house with a front porch on San Benito Avenue in Fresno, California. There are no other houses nearby, only a desolation of red sky and bleak land. It is late afternoon of a day in August, 1914. Johnny, aged 9, but essentially ageless, is sitting, dynamic and acrobatic, on the steps of the porch. Johnny watches the figure of an old man emerge from the distance as we hear from inside the house the somber voice of Johnny's father reciting poetry of his own composition.
A long, silent day journeys through the sore, solemn heart, and a long, silent day journeys through the sore, solemn heart, and now, crippled and weeping, time stumbles through the lone, lorn heart.
Hey, Pa, here comes an old man with a bugle. I sure would like to hear you play another song.
Young man, could you get a glass of water for an old man whose heart is not here, but in the Highlands?
What Highlands?
The Scotch Highlands. Could you?
Well, what's your heart doing in the Scotch Highlands?
My heart's grieving there. Could you get me a glass of cool water?
Where's your mother?
My mother's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but her heart isn't.
Well, where is her heart?
In the Scotch Highlands. I'm very thirsty, young man.
Well, how come the members of your family are always leaving their hearts in the Highlands?
That's the way we are. Here today and gone tomorrow.
Where's your mother's mother?
She's up in Vermont, in a little town called White River. But her heart isn't.
Is her poor old withered heart in the Highlands, too?
Right smack in the Highlands. Son, I'm dying of thirst.
Johnny, get away from that poor old man. Get him a pitcher of water before he falls down and dies. Where's Sam Hill of your manners?
Can't the fella try to find out something from a traveler once in a while?
For the love of Mike, get the old man some water. Don't stand there like a dummy. Get him a drink, I tell you, before he falls down and dies.
You get him a drink. You're not doing anything.
Not doing anything? Why, Johnny, you know I'm getting a new poem arranged in my mind.
Now, how do you figure I know? You're just standing there with your sleeves rolled up.
Well, you ought to know. You're my son. If you should know, who should?
Good afternoon. Your son has been telling me how clear and cool the climate is in these parts.
Holy Moses, I didn't say anything about the climate. Where's he getting that stuff from?
How do you do? Won't you come in for a little rest? We should be honored to have you at our table for a bite of supper.
Sir, I am starving. I shall come right in.
Can you play Drink to Me Only with Thine Eyes? I sure'd like to hear you play that song on the bugle. I guess I like that song better than any song in the world.
Son, when you get to be my age, you'll know songs aren't important. Bread's the thing.
Well, anyway, I sure'd like to hear you play that song.
Sir, my name is Jasper McGregor. I am an actor.
I'm mighty glad to make your acquaintance. Johnny, get Mr. McGregor a pitcher of water.
All right, Pa.
Charming boy.
Like myself, he's a genius.
I suppose you're very fond of him.
We're the same person. He's the heart of my youth. Have you noticed his eagerness?
I should say I have.
I'm the same way myself, although older and less brilliant.
Here's your water, Mr. McGregor. A whole pitcher.
Thank you, son.
Gee, Gallagher. Pa, he's going to drink it all in one swig.
I reckon I'm 5,000 miles from home. Do you think we could eat a little bread and cheese to keep my body and spirit together?
Johnny, Run down to the grocer's and get a loaf of French bread and a pound of cheese.
Give me the money.
You know I haven't got a penny, Johnny. Tell Mr. Kosak to give us credit.
He won't do it. He's tired of giving us credit. We owe him 40 cents.
You go on down there and argue it out with him. You know that's your job.
He won't listen to reason. All he wants is the 40 cents.
Go on down there and make him give you a loaf of bread and a pound of cheese. Oh, you can do it, Johnny.
Go on down there and tell Mr. Kosak to give you a loaf of bread and a pound of cheese, son.
Go ahead, Johnny. You've never failed to leave that store with something or other. You'll be back here in 10 minutes with food fit for a king. Or at least a duke of some kind.
Well, I don't know. You know, Mr. Cossack says we're trying to give him the merry runaround. He wants to know what kind of work you do.
Well, go and tell him. I have nothing to conceal. I write poetry, night and day.
All right. But I don't think he'll be impressed. He says you never go out and look for work. He says you're lazy and no good.
You go on down there and tell that great-hearted Slovak he's crazy, Johnny. You go on down there and tell that splendid scholar and gentleman your father is one of the greatest unknown poets living.
He won't care, Pa, but I'll go. Haven't we got anything in the house?
Only popcorn. We've been eating popcorn 4 days in a row now, Mr. McGregor. Johnny, you've got to get bread and cheese if you expect me to finish that long epic poem.
I'll do my best.
Don't take too long, Johnny. I'm 5,000 miles from home.
I'll run all the way, Mr. McGregor.
If you find any money on the way, remember, we go 50-50.
All right, Pa. Hello, Mr. Cossack.
What?
Mr. Cossack, if you were in China and didn't have a friend in the world and no money, you'd expect somebody over there to give you a pound of rice, wouldn't you?
What do you want?
I just want to talk a little. You'd expect some member of the Aryan race to help you out a little, wouldn't you, Mr. Cossack?
How much money you got?
It's not a question of money, Mr. Cossack. I'm talking about being in China.
I don't know nothing about nothing.
Well, how would you feel in China that way?
Well, I don't know, Johnny. What would I be doing in China?
Well, you'd be visiting there, and you'd be hungry, and 5,000 miles from home, and not a friend in the world. Now, you wouldn't expect everybody to turn you away without even a pound of rice, would you, Mr. Cossack?
I guess not, but you ain't in China, Johnny, and neither is your pa. You or your pa's got to go out and work sometime in your lives. I ain't going to give you no more groceries on credit because I know you won't pay me.
Mr. Cossack, you misunderstand me. This is 1914, not 1913. I'm not talking about a few groceries. I'm talking about all them heathen people around you in China. And you hungry and dying.
This ain't China, Johnny. Why don't your pa go out and get a job?
Mr. Cossack, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Johnny. How are you?
Couldn't be better, Mr. Cossack. How are the children?
Oh, they're all fine, Johnny. Stepan is beginning to walk now.
Ah, that's great. How's Angela?
Angela's beginning to sing. How's your grandmother?
Oh, she's fine. She's beginning to sing, too. How's your wife, Martha, Mr. Cossack?
What do you want, Johnny, and how much money you got?
Mr. Cossack, you know I didn't come here to buy anything. You know how I enjoy a quiet, philosophical chat with you every now and then. Let me have a loaf of French bread and a pound of cheese.
You got to pay cash, Johnny.
Oh, and Esther! How's your beautiful daughter, Esther?
She's all right, Johnny, but you got to pay cash. You and your pa are the worst citizens in this county.
I'm glad Esther's all right, Mr. Cossack. Jasper McGregor's visiting our house. Oh, he's a great actor.
I never heard of him.
And a bottle of beer for Mr. McGregor.
I can't give you a bottle of beer.
Sure you can.
I can't. I'll let you have one loaf of French bread and a pound of cheese, but that's all. What kind of work does your pa do when he works, Johnny?
My father writes poetry, Mr. Cossack. That's the only work my father ever does. He's one of the greatest writers of poetry in the world. Oh, thank you, Mr. Cossack.
Now, that's 55 cents you owe me, Johnny. I'm letting you have some stuff this time, but never again.
Tell Esther I love her, Mr. Cossack.
A splendid repast, Johnny. As I said before, I will say again, food fit for a king.
Is there any more cheese?
That's all there is, Mr. McGregor. No more bread either.
That green can up there, Johnny, what's in there?
Marbles.
That cupboard, Johnny. Anything edible in there?
Crickets.
That big jar in the corner there, Johnny. What's delectable in there?
How about a little music, Mr. McGregor? I think the boy would be delighted.
Oh, I sure would, Mr. McGregor.
All right, Johnny. Bread. Bread. My God, how savagely it quarrels with the heart.
What's the crowd gathering for?
You be quiet, you Gabley. We've come to hear the music. Oh, isn't it lovely, Miss Martin?
Right, beautiful, Mamie. Look, there's Mrs. Wilkes stopping.
And Mr. Volson.
Mamie, send Vernon home to fetch your ma.
Sure.
And then fetch your sister, too, to do her good to hear it.
Mr. McGregor, I want you to meet your public. Good neighbors and friends, I want you to meet Jasper McGregor, the greatest Shakespearean actor of our day, I believe.
I remember my first appearance in London in 1851 as if it was yesterday. I was a boy of 14 from the slums of Glasgow. My first part was a courier in a play, the title of which I have unfortunately forgotten. I had no lines to speak, but moved about a good deal, running from officer to officer, and from lover to his beloved, and back again, over and over
How about
again.
another song, Mr. McGregor?
Have you got an egg at your house?
I sure have. I got a dozen eggs at my house.
Would it be convenient for you to go and get one of them dozen eggs? When you return, I'll play a song that will make your heart leap with joy and grief.
I'm on my way already.
Me friends, I should be delighted to play another song for you on this golden-throated bugle. But time and distance from home find me weary. If you will be so good as to go, each of you to his home, and return in a moment with some morsel of food, I shall be proud to gather my spirit together and play a song I know will change the course of each of your lives. And change it, mind you, for the better.
Gallagher's, look, Pa. They're going. Look, Pa. There comes Ruth with the egg.
And Mrs. Wilkes with a dozen green onions.
And Mr. Vosen with bread, and Mamie with potatoes.
Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Now I shall play for you on this golden-throated bugle. If it is all the same to you, I should like to dwell in your house for a long time to come.
Sir, my house is your house for as long as you care to stay. Johnny, answer the door.
I'm looking for Jasper McGregor, the actor.
What do you want?
Ask him in, Johnny.
Won't you please come in?
Good evening.
How do you do? Oh, my name is Philip Carmichael. I'm from the Old People's Home. I've been sent to bring Mr. McGregor home.
Home? Did someone mention home? I'm 5,000 miles from home. Always have been and always will be. Who is this young man?
Why, Mr. McGregor, we've been looking for you for over 2 weeks. I'm Philip Carmichael from the Old People's Home. They sent me to bring you back.
Oh, so now you want me back. Why?
Well, we're putting on our annual show in 2 weeks, and we need you for the leading role.
What kind of a part is it? I can't be playing those young adventurers all my life.
The part is King Lear, Mr. McGregor. It's perfect for you.
Lear? Lear. Oh, yes, yes. Well, if I may say so, I am perfect for the part. Goodbye, my beloved friends. In all the hours of my life, in all the places I have visited, never and nowhere have I had the honor and pleasure to commune with souls loftier, purer, or more delightful than yours. Goodbye.
Oh, Pa.
Johnny, go down to Mr. Kozak's store and get a little something to eat. I know you can do it, Johnny. Get anything. What's that, Johnny?
A morning paper, Pa. Here, you can have it.
Morning paper? Where in the world did you get it?
I found it on the porch. There's a war in Europe.
Austria, Germany, France, England, Zeppelins, submarines, tanks, machine guns. So they've gone crazy again.
Pa, how long since they took Mr. McGregor away?
A few months, about 3.
Is it like a prison, Pa? The Old People's Home?
I don't know, Johnny.
I sure get lonesome for him sometimes. Don't you, Pa?
To tell you the truth, Johnny, I do.
I'm always remembering him. Especially the music. And the way he drinks water.
He's a great man.
It's Mr. Wiley, the mailman, Pa. Do you think we'll get a letter from New York again? With a check in it, maybe?
I don't know, Johnny.
Good morning, Mr. Alexander.
Good morning, Mr. Wiley.
Any mail for us, Mr. Wiley?
Well, now, let me see, Johnny. I think I've got something here for your father.
Is it from New York?
Yes, it is, Johnny. Well, Mr. Alexander, it looks like winter's coming again. The geese were flying this morning.
Yes, I know. I know.
Well, all right, Pa. Go ahead. Open it. What are you waiting for?
I'm scared. That's what. I can't understand how your father, can be so scared.
You don't sound scared, Pa. Who's it from?
It's from the Atlantic Monthly. You remember them poems I wrote after Mr. McGregor was here?
Maybe they bought the poems.
Bought them my eye. They don't buy poetry, Johnny. They scare you to death. And Alexander, 2226 San Benito Avenue, Fresno, California.
Pa, why don't you open it?
Because I'm scared, I tell you. Scared and ashamed. Those poems were great. How can it be that I'm scared?
Don't be scared, Pa.
Why do they clamor for all things but the best? Why do they destroy themselves running after things of death and thrust aside all things of life? Can't understand it. There's no hope for anybody.
Sure there is, Pa. Who the heck is the Atlantic Monthly?
Johnny, go away. Go away. Please go away.
All right, Pa.
We regret that we are unable to accept the enclosed pieces, and we return them herewith. Yours sincerely. You crazy, miserable fools. Go ahead. Kill everybody. Declare war on one another. Take the people by the thousands and mangle them. Their poor hearts and their poor spirits and their poor bodies. Give them ugliness. Pollute their dreams. Horrify them. Distort them with hatred for one another. Befoul the legend of the living, you maniacs whose greatness is measured by the number you destroy.
Pa.
You frauds of the world! You wretched and ungodly! Go ahead! Fire your feeble guns! You won't kill anybody or anything!
There will always be poets in the world. Johnny. 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 Johnny!
Yes, Pa?
Have you had your breakfast?
I'm not hungry, Pa.
You go inside now and eat.
I'm not hungry.
You do what I tell you.
I won't eat unless you do.
I'm not hungry.
I told you I won't eat unless you do. I'll tell you what. I'll go down to Mr. Cossack's and see if I can get something.
No, Johnny. Johnny, I thought we'd be getting some money. I didn't think it would be this way. Now go on inside and eat.
All right, Pa. But you gotta eat, too.
Oh, Mr. Alexander. Remember me? I put up the for rent sign.
Yes, I remember. How do you do?
Mr. Corey, the owner of the house, is out of town. And these people with me are looking for a house right away. The rent's $6 a month. We pay the water.
You can move in any time.
Well, thank you very much. We'll be back this afternoon or tomorrow.
Who are those people, Pa?
Just some people walking by.
Well, what were you talking about?
Just talking, Johnny.
Don't feel bad, Pa.
I don't feel bad, Johnny. Let the world be the world and God love everyone.
All right, then. Let's eat. Do you like grapes, Pa?
Of course I like grapes.
Pa?
Yes.
Is it stealing, Pa?
Well, some say it is and some say it isn't. I say it isn't. You took them off the vines, didn't you?
Oh, I took them off the vines all right, Pa.
It couldn't very well be stealing.
When would it be stealing?
The way I see it, Johnny, stealing is where there's unnecessary damage or cruelty to an innocent one, so that there may be undeserved profit or power to one who is not innocent.
Oh. Well, if it isn't stealing, Pa, I guess I'll go get some more. They'll all be gone pretty soon.
My son John. My God, how fortunate I have been.
Mr. Cossack.
What?
I'm Johnny's father. I have come to say goodbye, to apologize. Thank you.
You're not going away.
I'm sorry, yes.
We shall all miss Johnny.
I have no money. I am in debt to
It's
you.
nothing.
I may not see you again. I am a poet. These are some of my poems. I'm not offering them to you in place of the money I owe you. Money is another thing. Will you keep them for your kindness?
I can't take your poems.
I'm sorry. These poems. Let me tell you, they're the finest I have ever written. I want to leave them with you here.
No, please.
You'll do me a kindness by keeping them. Don't you see, poetry must be read to be poetry. It may be that one reader is all that I deserve. If this is so, I want that reader to be you.
Thank you. I'm unworthy.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Deep in the bowels of the earth, and far dispersed into the green waters of the sea, and held tight within the hardness of rock, I thee remember. Love, remember me.
The kid is tired and sleepy. We thought maybe we could move in now.
Oh, hello. The house is ready. Come right in. Johnny, get your stuff.
What, Pa? Get my stuff.
We're going.
McGregor!
Welcome, Mr. McGregor. Welcome, my friend.
I have run away. Don't let them take me back.
Of course I won't. Please, sit down, Mr. McGregor.
It's good to see you again.
Is your heart still in the Highlands?
In the Highlands, son. You won't let them take me back, will you?
No.
You'll not take me back. I warn you. I'll fall down and die. I belong here.
Why, it's Ruth Apley.
Hello, Mr. McGregor. I was sitting home when I heard that song again. Nobody could ever forget that song. I brought these few things.
Thank you, my friend.
Some others have come. They've brought things. I know they'd like to hear you play again.
Of course I'll play.
Let them in, Johnny. Be quiet, please. He's going to play.
Years, my friends. I have walked to the end of them. I'm sorry.
Here, Mr. McGregor. Here's some water.
They wouldn't let me play. They stole my bugle. They said I was sick. I'm as strong as a bull. If they come to take me back, I shall pretend that I am dying. I shall play the death scene from King Lear. I shall play all the death scenes. Blow wines and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow, you cataracts and hurricanes. Spout till you have drenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. Here I stand, your slave, a poor, infirm, weak, and despised old man. To be or not to be? To be. To be what? A fool? A man mocked by destiny? Turned away from home and fire and love? I am a man more sinned against than sinning. Arms, arms, sword, fire!
Oh, Pa.
Mr. Alexander, I'm the man from the home. We heard him playing and we...
Oh. He's very sick, isn't he? Yes. Mr. McGregor. Mr. McGregor! He's dead.
No, he isn't. He was acting.
By God, he was the greatest Shakespearean actor of our day.
I'm sorry this had to happen here.
Why not? Why not here? This is where he wanted it to be.
He was acting, Pa. He isn't dead. Are you, Mr. McGregor? Are you?
I'll take him home.
Johnny, get your stuff. We're going.
Have you someplace to go?
Yes, we have.
Where the heck do you think we're going, Pa?
Never mind, Johnny. You just follow me.
I'm not mentioning any names, Pa. But something's wrong somewhere.
The Columbia Workshop has just presented William Saroyan's play, My Heart's in the Highlands, prepared for radio by Paul Phillips. Tonight's production was directed by Earl McGill. Incidental music from the original score by Paul Bowles was directed by Howard Barlow. The part of Mr. McGregor was played by Art Smith, that of Johnny by Sidney Lumet, Johnny's father, Santos D'Ortega, and Mr. Cossack, William Hanson. Next week at this same time, the Columbia Workshop will present Miss Elsa Lanchester in Fanny Kemble by Joseph Liss and Louis Lantz. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.